This is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you it's time to show up. Welcome in. We are live here on this Thursday as we get you set for a big day in Atlanta sports. So much to get to on the show. Mike Rothstein of ESPN, ESPN.com, host of From the Perch, will break down the Falcons draft for us coming up here in a little bit. There's a lot to get to with the Falcons and the NFL draft. We are 1 week away from the NFL draft, where we find out exactly what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do. Some reactions from the Atlanta Braves as well as they finish up their series in LA. First off day of the season for the Atlanta Braves. So we'll recap how the first 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, have gone for the Atlanta Braves later on in the show. But we start tonight with, or I should say we start with tonight, the Atlanta Hawks return back to State Farm Arena in an 0-2 hole against the Miami Heat. And it's one of these situations, folks, where it's readily apparent that this is the night where you test your best folks' mettle, where you test what their character is about, what their abilities are about, what their sort of gut is about, right? These are these gut check moments for the biggest stars, the biggest names, the biggest players within an organization. You lose this and you go down 0-3, the series is done. And if you're saying, well, no, there's still a chance. Nope, no NBA team has ever blown a 3-0 lead in the history of the playoffs. So it's all but done. You can get a gentleman's sweep out of this thing if you'd like, but generally that means this series is over when you go down 0-3. Not generally, it is over. This is a clear must-win situation. And when you get in these spots, when you get in these moments where you need your biggest players, best stars, and best guys to step up, what you find out whether you got the guy you got. Now, I don't think anybody's going to sit here and doubt Trae Young and his ability to rise into big moments. However, there is a little bit of a difference to this moment than there was to one last year. The Hawks aren't playing with house money this year. They're not. Like, you can say that as the 8th seed. Oh, no. The expectations for this team were much higher than an 8 seed. The expectations for this team were much higher than having to be in the play-in game, the play-in tournament. The expectations for this team were much, much, much higher than getting out of the first round of the NBA playoffs. So all of this is on the line here tonight. And Trae, whereas last year, no one knew what to expect. There were no expectations, and you went out and you beat the Knicks and you silenced the Madison Square Garden crowd. Remember that one? All that stuff happened, and it was great. And Trae built a little momentum. And you took on a 76ers team and you beat them. And you end up losing to the Bucks, who ended up winning the championship, and that's all fine and good. But by the time you had gotten into the Philly series, that's when you were playing with house money. When you took a series lead on Philadelphia, then you were playing with house money because you literally weren't supposed to be there. Nobody expected the Hawks to be a 5 seed last year. This year, everybody expected the Hawks to be better than what they were. They added certain pieces. They rounded out this team really well. And granted, they played with some injuries and this, that, and the other, but all that is kind of going away. You're in an 0-2 hole in a must-win spot tonight. You need to see something from Trae. You need to see something from John Collins. You need to see something from some of these guys that are on the bench. Whether it's Gallinari, whether it's Bogey, whoever it may be, DeAndre Hunter, a number 4 overall pick. You need to see something from these guys to have their best game in the biggest moment tonight. And you need to see something from Nate McMillan. Because if you want to validate, and I'm not saying his job is on the line, I'm not saying it at all, but if you want to validate yourself as a head coach, it's winning a game like this. Even if you get gentlemen swept after this fact, winning this game is the one that really matters. Where are you when your back's against the wall? Because winning when you're down 0-3 doesn't matter. Miami's taking their foot off the gas pedal. They're willing to lose one. They'll go clinch the series back at home in front of their fans and stay there. They got to go back home regardless, right? I mean, it's just, it's a different mentality. This is the game you need to literally get back into the series. And so everybody has got to get their A game going tonight. And for those who don't, it's a question mark. And I think it's a fair question mark. I honestly don't think that there is anything wrong with judging tonight as a huge moment for Trae, for John Collins, for Nate McMillan, for the entire organization. Show me the guts you got. Show me what you're made of. Show me that you have the ability to be generally outclassed for 2 games and you can counterpunch. What's the old adage in the NBA playoffs? The series doesn't really start until somebody loses a home game. Well, series hasn't started yet by that measure. You have time to be able to get back in this thing. But lose tonight and the series is over. So I am so curious to see how they respond. And I'm curious to see how they start. Right? I needed a start as good as the one you got in game 2, where there's a lead for you in the first quarter, where you're not playing catcher, because really that's the only way. And then they've got to find a way to play some damn defense. Better than what they've done. Their defense has been atrocious in the first 2 games of this series. And you've heard me talk about Miami and how good they are and how competitive they've been and how much of a different level this team is. You got to find a way to neutralize it. And oh, by the way, that's Nate McMillan. You're the coach. Find a way to neutralize it. Find a way where you can come up with a game plan that gets Trae better shots, that gets guys more open, that allows points to be scored, that doesn't make everything an uphill battle all night long. That's on coaching. That's what Nate McMillan has to do tonight. Trae and John Collins, they just got to execute. They just got to play to the stats that they played through all year long. Can't have a 1 for 10 shooting night. Can't do that. I'm not even worried about the threes. And I've talked so much about what the threes mean to this. I believe that the threes are going to fall. I hope that the threes are going to fall. They need the threes to fall. Like, that's the only way they get through all this whole thing. But still, like, if Miami shuts them down from deep for the 3rd consecutive game, what do you do? I mean, again, I've told you, Miami's just better than the Hawks are, but I still want to see them come out and counterpunch tonight. I still want to see them come out with some level of, some level of just guts, some heart. Show me the heart you got inside of you. I don't just want a close game that you want to lose. The guts mean that you go out and you win a tough game. No moral victories, especially not in the postseason. So tonight is huge. It's going to say a lot about the construct of this team, the construct of this organization, where they are, and how much viability this group is currently constructed has going forward. I don't think I'm over-grandizing this. I don't think I'm over-exaggerating what tonight means. Because when you look in the big picture, from the 30,000-foot view, if they can't win a game tonight, they're a lot farther away than you think. They're a lot farther away than you think. All right, coming up next, we will turn our attention to a team that is farther away than you think, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. Mike Rothstein from ESPN, ESPN.com, host of From the Perch podcast, is going to join us right here on A to Z. Give us a follow at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno, at Locked On ATL. We are free on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast, just search Locked On Sports Atlanta. That's coming up next right here on A to Z.